October 25th, 2023, a body lies abandoned on a Dallas roadside, shot in the chest and left to die. The victim? A successful businesswoman who had just picked her husband up from prison. The killer? That same husband, the man she loved, supported, and married just days after his release. This is the story of Dishier Stevenson, a woman whose loyalty became her death sentence. The woman who had it all. Dishier Stevenson wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. At 34 years old, she ran Shea Money Purses and More LLC, selling fashion items, beauty products, and accessories. On Instagram, she went by Shea Money, and her followers watched as she built an empire from the ground up. But Dishier's hustle didn't stop there. She filed tax refunds for clients, a lucrative side business that added thousands to her income. Her social media nickname? Money-Making Dishier, and she lived up to it. She was also a devoted mother to her 17-year-old daughter Maya, gifting her a car for her birthday, a symbol of everything Dishier had worked to achieve. Family meant everything to her. She cared for her mother, who had suffered a stroke and was partially paralyzed, all while managing multiple businesses and maintaining her social presence. Dishier's life looked perfect from the outside. Successful business, loving family, financial independence. But beneath the surface, there was a crack in the foundation, a relationship that would soon shatter everything she'd built. The man she stood by, Michael Smith, was 39 years old, quiet, and seemingly easygoing. But his past was complicated. He'd been incarcerated, and throughout his time behind bars, Dishier stood by him. She visited regularly, sent letters, maintained their emotional connection despite the distance and the stigma. When most people would have walked away, Dishier stayed. That was who she was, fiercely loyal, deeply committed, and unwilling to give up on the people she loved. The Grand Reunion, May 2021. Michael's release day arrived and Dishier went all out. She got her makeup done, organized an extravagant surprise, documented the entire reunion on social media, her excitement impossible to contain. "I got my face, my makeup done and stuff, just to go pick him up," she said in a video, her joy radiating through the screen. The reunion was everything she'd imagined. After years of separation, they were finally together again. She'd rented a nice room, planned every detail, made sure Michael knew just how much he meant to her. Days later, they got married, a small ceremony, but the love felt real. It was supposed to be their fresh start, proof that loyalty and love could overcome any obstacle. When success breeds resentment, but the fairy tale didn't last. While Dishier continued building her empire, Michael struggled to find his footing. He had no job, no income, no financial independence. And Dishier was the sole provider. She didn't mind. She funded vacations, threw lavish birthday parties, even gifted Michael $10,000 cash for his birthday. She loved him, and she showed it the only way she knew how, through generosity and support. But Michael's insecurities festered. He wasn't the provider. He wasn't in control. And instead of appreciating Dishier's success, he resented it. His jealousy grew, his drug addiction resurfaced, and his behavior became increasingly controlling. Dishier, the woman who had once been full of life and energy, found herself trapped in a toxic relationship. The man she'd stood by through prison now wanted to control every aspect of her life. The warning signs. No one heeded. Just days before her death, Dishier told her sister Jasmine something chilling. "I feel like I'm going to die." Jasmine brushed it off at first. People say things like that when they're stressed or overwhelmed. But something about the way Dishier said it lingered. Looking back, Jasmine would realize her sister had sensed what was coming. The day everything ended. October 24th, 2023, Maya tried reaching her mother. No response. That wasn't like Dishier. She always answered her daughter. Maya contacted family members. Panic set in. They called Michael, asking if he'd seen Dishier. His response? He didn't know where she was. He hadn't seen her. That was a lie. Dishier's family traced her car to Pleasant Village Apartments, where Michael's father lived. The car was parked oddly, hidden in a way that raised immediate red flags. Then they saw a post on a community blog. A woman had been shot just 3 minutes from Michael's father's home. When they arrived at the crime scene, their worst fears were confirmed. Dishier Stevenson was dead. The evidence paints a brutal picture. Detectives searched Michael's car. What they found was damning. Traces of blood, a spent bullet casing, and a single sandal, the match to the one Dishier had been wearing. Surveillance footage showed Dishier and Michael arriving separately at the apartments. At some point, Dishier entered Michael's vehicle. What happened inside remains unclear, but the argument escalated beyond control. By the time police received the 911 call, Dishier had been shot in the chest. Her body was dumped on Murdoch Road, abandoned like trash. The scene was brutal. The family that had spent all night searching for her now stood at a crime scene, staring at the unthinkable. The sister who knew something was wrong. Jasmine recounted their last conversation. Dishier had told her about Michael's behavior, how he'd been tripping, accusing her of trying to set him up, claiming people on Facebook were watching them. It was just some weird stuff, Jasmine said. When Jasmine found Dishier's car at the apartments, she knew. The way the car was set up, the way it was hid, I just felt it in my bones like she was gone. They asked Michael where Dishier was. He showed off, told them he didn't know, all while knowing he'd already killed her. The manhunt. Michael went into hiding. Police found multiple firearms in his residence, confirming his violent tendencies. For days, he moved from location to location. Eventually, they tracked him to a barbershop. He was arrested without incident. His defense? He claimed he'd been under the influence of PCP, angel dust, a hallucinogenic drug that causes severe mood swings. But that explanation doesn't hold up. PCP might alter perception, but it doesn't create murderous intent from nothing. Michael Smith now sits in Dallas County Jail on a $1 million bond, awaiting trial for the murder of the woman who never gave up on him. The tragedy of misplaced loyalty. Dishier's death is a devastating reminder of what happens when jealousy, insecurity, and possessiveness go unchecked. She believed her love could save Michael. She thought loyalty and support would help him overcome his demons. But toxic relationships don't respond to love alone. They require boundaries, accountability, and sometimes the courage to walk away. Dishier's teenage daughter Maya now faces a world without her mother. Jasmine and the rest of the family are left with unanswered questions and unbearable grief. The man Dishier stood by through prison, the man she married, supported, and loved, became the man who took her life. Dishier Stevenson was a self-made woman who deserved better. She built businesses, cared for her family, and remained loyal to a man who repaid her devotion with violence. Her story isn't just about one tragic murder. It's about recognizing red flags, understanding the dangers of emotional abuse, and knowing when to prioritize your own safety over misplaced loyalty. Because sometimes the people we love most become the people we should fear. And in Dishier's case, that realization came too late.